Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is a review I've been waiting to bring you guys for such a long time. Of course, today I'll be talking about the latest in the Mission Impossible franchise, Dead Reckoning Part 1, of course starring Tom Cruise, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, also starring Ving, Rhames, Hayley, Atwell, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Vanessa, Kirby, Esai Morales, Pom Clementif, and Henry Searsney. Look guys, if you guys don't know, I am a big fan of the Mission Impossible series, which is why I had to dress up on this occasion. And of course, I love the last film, Fallout, which I think is, you could argue, one of the greatest action films of all time, and certainly the best in the franchise. So this movie had some big shoes to fill, understandably so. I mean, Tom Cruise has outdone himself in every single movie and almost kills himself every time he walks on screen. So just the level of dedication to his craft. Once again, say what you will about, things in his, with him, but he's the hardest working man in the industry. He throws himself 100% into every single project that he does, especially this one. If you guys saw the COVID rant, Tom Cruise really cares about these movies and cares about the industry, and giving the audience a very gratifying and exhilarating experience, and I couldn't respect the man more in that sense. And this is obviously something that you feel here 100%. This is one of the best directed movies of the year, I think it's safe to say. McQuarrie's grip on the camera here is just absolutely incredible. Even in just the dialogue sequences, the way it moves around the room, the way it frames characters in certain positions, it really is exceptionally done, and the editing here is amazing as well. But you could say that about almost every single aspect in this film, especially the score from Lorne Balfe, which is probably the best score I've heard of the entire year. One of the best in the entire franchise, maybe the best. I don't know. It's really tough to say, but I hope this gets an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score, because it's one of the most standout of the year and in the entire franchise. The sound design also must be given a lot of well-deserved praise. I mean, seeing this movie in IMAX, I've seen it twice, because the first time, that's why this review is a little late, because the first time I was a bit sleepy in the middle, and then I saw it again, and I was like sleepier at the end, and I'm like, I can't win with this. But I really do think I have a firm grip on how I feel about this movie regardless. But the technical elements of this film can't be overstated. I think the sound design deserves an Oscar as well. It could go all the way to win. My goodness, just what they do throughout this entire film. You feel every single effect that they put in, every crash. Everything about it is just so tangible and so realistic. But these action set pieces are just awesome. Now, I will say right off the bat, it's not better than Fallout. And I think Fallout, every single piece of that film is so memorable. Like, there's nothing like the bathroom fight in Fallout. There's nothing like Tom Cruise hanging off a helicopter. You don't get that many crazy moments, but there are a few that are just some of the most mind-blowing and best in the entire franchise. There's this whole airport chase sequence, which is really great as well, and very, very old-fashioned spy sort of espionage scene that really ramps up a lot of tension. And a lot of that, once again, has to do to the directing from Christopher McQuarrie and the insanely tight editing, which there's so many points where you could just feel the nail-biting tension in the theater, especially the scene where he jumps off the cliff and free falls onto a moving train. You could literally almost hear a pin drop. I mean, people were making noises when I saw it in IMAX, but the theater was basically silent for the most part, and it was just so amazing to watch unfold in all its splendor on the big screen. And of course, I got to talk about the performers and the characters, because Mission Impossible, it's never really been that much about the story, though I appreciate when they take stabs at it, like in Mission Impossible 3, for instance, and in Ghost Protocol, which is one of my favorites as well. And I mean, the characters that populate this narrative are still really, really great. Of course, Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt, one of the most reliable action heroes of all time, but certainly of this era. and just such a relatable protagonist in a way we relate to Tom Cruise, I guess. I don't know. But he's really great in all these movies. Ving Rhames as Luther's great. Of course, Simon Pegg as Benji is always a comedic standout. Not as much in this film, but you certainly love the guy and that character at this point in time. Of course, Vanessa Kirby comes back as the White Widow, and she's really great. And she has to do some really interesting things in this movie that kind of show off her range and why she's an Academy Award nominee for many, many reasons. And of course, Rebecca Ferguson coming back as Elsa. You know, she is just one of the best characters in the entire franchise, and I think she gives quite a good turn here as well, to no surprise. And of course, I have to mention the newcomers like Hayley Atwell, who's, oh my goodness, just so charismatic, and just the charisma she has and chemistry with Tom Cruise is so sexy. And I love, she's probably the best new addition to this film, and I absolutely love her character of Grace. Definitely going to be, I think, a standout in the films to come. Of course, Esai Morales as the villain here, really solid, though I think the character is a bit underwritten. Though I gotta give the man props, especially during the knife fights, because this man is like actually doing all this stuff with Tom Cruise on top of a moving train, and that cannot be understated how difficult that is. And just amazing, these two basically 60-year-old men like going at it on top of a locomotive. It's just unbelievable, the stuff that they come up with. But he's really solid in it, well as Pom Klementieff. But the thing is, I feel both these characters are underwritten, and I didn't really, there's some cool moments with them for sure, but I didn't really feel the full impact of their story arc. And as I said, I don't think every action sequence is really is enthralling or is riveting as the last one. Like, there's a car chase in here, and it's great. They do some really creative things. But it's nowhere near as good as the car chase in Fallout. It's just not. And I think you get a lot of those moments here of just me comparing it to the stuff that came before. Where would I rank it personally? Well, it's probably my third favorite in the franchise under Fallout and Ghost Protocol, respectively. But that isn't saying a whole lot. I mean, it's certainly one of the best movies of the year. I think one of my other problems is I think there's a lot of exposition, especially in the middle of the film, which kind of takes away from the action and leaves you wanting more. I don't think the story is as engaging as those other two previous entries. It really isn't the most complex or deep story that you get, but it is pretty easy to follow, and seeing it a couple times, I got a bit more clarity going back around and watching it. But just the way these scenes are framed, the way these scenes are constructed, my goodness, the finale to this film, it might as well be one of the greatest set pieces in the entirety of the Mission Impossible franchise. One of the best of all time in any action movie, you could say. I was on the edge of my seat, just the tension is just so palpable, and you can't help but be absolutely riveted and wanting for more. It really is just a great film, and when it comes to being a part one, I think this film feels more complete in a way that some of these other films don't, like Across the Spider-Verse, which I've thrown so much praise at over the past month since its release, and I don't think it quite it wraps it up in a more satisfying way, I think, which isn't to say that's a bad way of wrapping things up at all. But yeah, I mean, what do I think about this movie? Well, I think you should absolutely go see it as soon as you get the chance to. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. Really one of the best in the franchise, one of the best movies of the year, one of the best blockbusters that you're going to get this entire summer, though next week is going to be a pretty high bar and to top, and something I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, people are going to be talking about this on the end of their year-end list, top 10, all that sort of stuff. Will it make mine? I don't know. It's too early to say, but it's definitely a very solid honorable mention, and one that could definitely make the cut But then again, if the movies are going to be as good as I think they are this year, there's going to be some competition. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys thought about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Do you think it's one of the best in the franchise? Do you think it's the best? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing here. More movie reviews coming down the line, especially Oppenheimer and Barbie the week after next. It's going to be a tight weekend, so I might not be able to get to them right as the weekend rolls around, but you best believe that I'm going to have those up sometime in the very, very near future. And a lot of interesting videos coming out very soon, some very special ones that you guys haven't seen yet. I'm actually going to do a review of Taylor Swift's re-release of Speak Now, so that's going to be interesting. And another video that I've been sitting on for a while, so please stay tuned for that. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Take it easy now.